Hello, my friends, and welcome to my channel. And today I have an exciting announcement. Something that's been worked on, kicked around behind the scenes for a while now. And it's finally time to make it official and make an announcement. It is the Sound and Vision Project 2023. That's right. Myself and three other brave folks, and you if you want to join along, will be doing multiple things centered around the life, the music, the theater, the theatrical productions, the bookish lists about David Bowie. And it started by just a casual conversation with myself and Jack from Spread Bookjoy, who also happens to be a big David Bowie fan. And after a while, the idea kind of spread into, well, let's try to do something more formal about this. Let's see what we can come up with. And we dragged along two other people, MJ from Reading This Life and Gareth from Book Songs and Other Magic. And we're dreaming up something fun and spectacular, and a little bit different than anything else that really is around on BookTube. Because the centerpiece of this is less on the bookish side of things, although we do have some of those for you, and more around the music side of things. See, David Bowie released 27 studio albums, one posthumously. And if you knock off the very first one, which is very, very different in sound and style than anything else he ever did, then you have a nice, easy, even 26, meaning every 2 weeks per album. And so that is the big heart behind all of this, is every 2 weeks we're going to be listening to, talking about a different David Bowie album, starting with his 1969 self-titled. So there's two self-titled albums, but this is the one that has Space Oddity on it, which is sometimes marketed as Space Oddity for the title. And every 2 weeks we're going to listen to a different album along the way. And it's going to be so much fun. If you're interested in following along with the chat, we do have a Voxer group. Reach out to myself or any of my three co-hosts, and we'd be happy to have you join in with us to chat the music. But there's even more about that. So the obvious thing to consider with something like David Bowie would be biographies. There's got to be plenty of them out there. And we each have some, or access to some. For instance, I have this right here by Mark Spitz. So this is Bowie, a biography. You can see I got it from a library book sale previously. And so rather than forcing to collectively us all have the same one, we're each going to individually try to read some of them along the year. And we may decide at some point in time to try to collectively read one at the same time. I think that would be fun too. So there's one aspect of it, is biographies by Bowie. But not only that, Bowie himself was a bookish person. And a couple years before his death, he made a Facebook post where he shared his 100 favorite books. The things that have influenced him the most. And I'll have that list linked down below. And we're each going to potentially try to read a couple of them. Again, not necessarily collectively as in, hey, we're all going to pick this one book and read it at the same time. But, to each read the ones that interest us and kind of reflect on how it might have impacted Bowie's career. So, for instance, I might be reading some essays by George Orwell, which happens to be on his list. I believe it was Inside the Whale and Other Essays was the formal title. And this one happens to have that essay inside here, Inside the Whale. And so I figure this is a good substitute, even if it's not the exact same table of contents. And there's 99 others on that list. Some of them you'll have heard of. Some of them are music-centered. Others are, a little off the beaten path. And that really all sums up David Bowie in a nutshell. He was very varied in his musical taste and over his career. And then beyond even all of that, there's things like live albums, there's the soundtracks, there's movies he starred in. There's movies and TV shows where he played some sort of an acting role. All of that's on the table right now for possibilities of what we might choose to do. I'd love nothing more than an excuse to rewatch Labyrinth, for instance. And there's a couple of films that cover Bowie's life, including one I think that just released in 2022 that we'll probably plan at some point in time to all watch and talk about. So all of this is to say there's a lot of open-ended ways in which we can approach this, and we're still working through some of those finer details on whether or not we want to try and collectively approach something as a group, or kind of each just have the music be what binds us together alongside some of these other side projects that we can each go down, and be interested to hear everybody's experience in those. So if you're interested at all, please let us know. We'd love to have you along for the ride. And I will have down in below, depending on when you see this, I will go in and edit in the timetable for the albums. So every 2 weeks, starting January 1st, we'll have a new album every second week up on the docket. And I can't wait. I'm excited about it because Bowie's music has always just really resonated well with me. And I can't wait to do just an absolute year-long deep dive into his discography and see the evolution of him and see which songs that maybe aren't as mainstream. Because, of course, the hits are going to stand out, but which ones that weren't hits, that don't stand today as being hits, that get overshadowed by some of the other ones. For instance, on Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, 5 Years is a fantastic track, but it gets overshadowed by all the other great hits on there. So, anyway, I'm excited for the Sound and Vision project, and I hope that you are too. Even if you're not excited to follow along, hopefully you'll still enjoy the occasional video talking about some of the music, books that shaped Bowie, books about Bowie, that'll be appearing in this channel over the course of 2023. So, thank you, and have a great day.